because of our experiences, people knew that these people are ethical guys to be working with, and our face was known into the corporate for quite some time.
Like any business or any entrepreneur, right? You don't go for those traditional methods or options, taking a loan from bank or borrowing from friends and family or going for an angel investor.
And we used to have butterflies that, okay, tomorrow is the webinar, how many people are going to attend? We've invited thousands of them, and then we see that good 100, 150 are there on the stream. So first step is that, okay, these guys trust us.
I read a document last week by IT industry. What they wrote is, it is extremely tough today to ensure that human resource is updated and current as per the requirement of the industry. It is really tough. I mean, the way the world is changing is very, very fast.
But once a person is there in front of the interviewer, maybe a chairperson or another board member, and for that conversation, during that conversation, I would say almost 90-95% of the questions they would be able to answer, because the kind of download that they take from this program enables them to do that.
If a leader thinks that he has won the battle, he has lost. The thought process should be different, which should be in alignment with your team.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Vanguard Circle show, organized by the World Development Corporation. It's actually a delight for me to host this engagement, and I see three emerging personalities in the front of me. I will call them leaders, entrepreneurs, and people who have a vision. Let me take a moment to give an overview about what exactly we're talking about. We are looking at today's challenging global times. The key areas of leadership, the corporate governance include adapting to technological changes, prioritizing sustainability and ESG goals, ensuring ethical leadership, and fostering financial resilience. I strongly believe that this good leadership requires ethical decision making, transparency, and accountability. While good corporate governance ensures the company's long-term success, and the stakeholders' well-being is also being well taken care. I consider the WTC would be the organization that will benchmark other organizations to lead to build a more sustainable ecosystem for all of us. Before I begin this conversation with three important personalities, I would just give a background. The WTC is where the governance meets grit, innovation meets purpose, and leadership gets real. At the heart of all, one simple belief: doing business the right way is the only way. If you are ready to hear the tomorrow's boardroom legends are made, how they could deliver, you're in the right place. And behind this movement are three minds, one mission. And add here that three are different by age, by have a single goal: to have success, sustainability, and meet the society needs for a long-term growth. Let me possibly introduce these three personalities. And they have different diverse thought processes. Allow me to introduce the extraordinary leadership behind the World Development Corporation, Mr. Zeeshaan Pathan, and Mr. Heval Mehta, and Mr. Ayub Sheikh, a trio for driving the WDC global rise in governance, innovation, and ethical practice. I think these are the three pillars to make any business successful. Under their stewardship, WDC has launched pioneering platforms such as Autonomy, PropTech, and Board Search AI, reshaping how boardrooms compliances and capital operate in a digital age. I think these are some of the important milestones which every company undergoes. Each one of them bring with them not only the intellectual capital to the company, but also a resilient approach to problem solving. Before I begin my conversation with them, let me give a brief introduction. Mr. Pathan brings bold strategic leadership, is a group MD and CEO earning a recognition as a change maker on the national and international platforms. Welcome, Mr. Pathan, for this event.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
Mr. Mehta, MD and CEO, anchors the organization with empathy and leadership, fostering trust and purposeful growth. I think he's a man who has in-depth, incremental approach to problem solving. Welcome, Mr. Mehta, for this event.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you.
While Mr. Sheikh is a silent worker with a fierce financial expertise, with technology crafting future-ready solutions powered by AI and blockchain. Welcome, Mr. Ayub Sheikh, for this event.
Thank you so much.
I think today's conversation will enrich not only the people who are watching this show, but will also bring new insights in accelerating their thought process. And I will always believe, extrapolate the past and invent the future. And WDC will give you the message. Right? So let me begin the conversation with Mr. Heval. Are you okay with your first name?
Absolutely. Yes.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
That's good. I possibly been wondering that how did you get the idea of the World Development Corporation and the Directors Institute? Because this is something very unique. And I possibly feel that the audience would like to hear from you the history and the starting point. Your thoughts, please.
This question actually reminds me and takes me to the days when I was in a search firm. So when you're working in a search firm and you're working for a specific position, that can be either the vice president, senior vice president, and so on. All of a sudden, one day, we get a position of an independent director.
Okay.
A non-executive director, to be more precise. Now, the ideal process that a search firm follows is find the right candidate, considering what is mentioned in the job description. So we started hunting for the best profile. What we get is good 10, 15 profiles, and we start calling them to understand whether they are right fit for this role. Now, considering their experience, considering the kind of knowledge they have, they are the right candidates, they are the right fit for the role. However, what was missing was the certification. We identified what is this certificate all about. We started calling some more candidates. So everyone with whom we spoke, they were matching the right criteria, but something that was missing was their certification.
Okay.
We identified that gap. We discussed with the client that we do have some profiles, but they are not certified. And at that time, we understood that independent director can only be onboarded if they hold a certificate, which is issued by government. We introduced and we discussed the same thing with those candidates, and that they said that yes, we fit for this position, but we are not certified, we are not trained.
Okay.
And that was the same situation with many of the candidates. We identified that and we understood that if someone who wants to become an independent director must have a certificate from government. Now, not only that, if I talk about the other positions, like someone who is the associate vice president in the organization and he wants to move up in his career, something that was missing in the profile was the knowledge about corporate governance, the knowledge about ESG, the knowledge about understanding how technology can be introduced on the board. So we decided that if this is a miss, let's understand who trains them actually, so that we can guide them, we can show them the right direction, get yourself trained, certified, and we can connect again to discuss more about the position. We identified that we had some institution, we had some training schools who were doing it, but that was pretty basic. We wanted these professionals not only to become the future board members, we wanted them to become the exemplary board members.
Okay.
We pulled our socks up, we said, let's design the course. But who are we to design the course and give it in the market? So let's form an institute. An institute should be someone's initiative. That's where a collective name that we came up with was World Development Corporation. And under that, we had this entity called Directors Institute. We added a tagline to it, World Council of Directors, to train directors not only, to train professionals not only to make them future leaders or future board members, but exemplary board members. And that's how this idea kicked in. And we designed the course, we designed the organization structure, and that's how WDC and Directors Institute was formed.
Oh, wonderful. That's really great. So you articulated the demands in the market, did a homework on understanding how directors lack in certain areas, and you tried to see that you will create a kind of a model that will groom these directors to meet those standards and get them approved through a certification.
Absolutely, and the homework was backed by an extremely strong research. So that completes.
That's really important.
That's
really wonderful. I think probably very few institutions are aligned with this kind of thought process.
Correct.
Because there is a constant change in the demand in the market. The market globally, locally, is in a constant change. And directors should have more alignment with multidisciplinary skills.
Exactly.
Not a homogeneous skill.
That's right, yeah.
That's very interesting to see the story. I think that this is a wonderful beginning to understand the inception of this organization. Let me go to Mr. Pathan, who actually is steering this whole organization, because you have a great responsibility. You probably must have had and aligned with what Mr. Mehta mentioned. So tell me, once the idea came into motion, how was the journey? Because anything that you start initially ignites you, but the challenge remains in multiple ways: finance, operations, manpower, execution, strategizing. So tell me something about how did you go further into this, converted your challenges into opportunities?
Well, I would say the journey was never straightforward. It was always a roller coaster ride. And I believe the viewers would really want to know about what we actually did. We were working for an organization, and that moment we decided, okay, now it's time, and this idea needs to be given some sort of push. And the time came when we had to resign.
Oh, was that so?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the biggest challenge in anybody's life when they are starting a new organization is you are actually risking a regular income that is coming to you and getting into a mode where you don't have any clarity about whether you would be getting the tomorrow's salary or not.
Uncertainties.
Uncertainties are there. So the first challenge that we had was to take care of our mental barrier.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Second challenge I would say was making sure that your family members are by your side.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you are taking this call, you're not just risking yourself, you're risking your whole families.
Yeah.
And third was finding the right people to be working with.
I think that's more important.
That's
than
more
anything
important.
else.
Yes. And that's where we happened to meet. I was working with Heval and we had a very wonderful friendship.
Mhm.
We carry a lot of respect for each other.
Mhm.
We worked in two organizations in the past. And when it comes to IU, when we started, we had completed almost a decade and 3 years,
Mhm.
and more than 13 years of our friendship of belief and trust in each other, because that's something which is needed. So I thought it's time for us to have the right people in place.
Yes.
Now, once that happened, the rest of the challenges began.
It's something like how Starbucks started with 3 people. The
Yes.
Starbucks started with 3 people and none of them were real entrepreneurs. But how they moved today, and you see these big businesses started in the same way. Same way, I always give this as an example. Even Airbnb started with 2 friends who actually could not find an accommodation for a show. And they really went to someone and say, we are ready to pay, can you accommodate us? And that's how it started. So I think getting 3 of you together with 3 different thought process, diverse, but with one single goal, made you a leader.
Possibly. I would say. And in fact, it's not just about risking me, my salaries, my family, it was about risking theirs as well.
Yeah.
But the best thing that came out of this is that they never asked the second question. They never said, because they had that belief that yes, all 3 of us would be able to make something good
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah.
They actually had that belief. So that is the only thing that I needed them to bring them with this overall idea together. And they are equally, I would say from day one, they have equally done everything possible which is required to grow this organization to this level. So, as I said, it is never a one-man job. One man can convince a couple of people, but those have to believe in that one man. Those believers, or in fact, myself believing into that idea, right? Because we have to believe in that idea, not just an individual. That belief actually would drive everything. And that's where everything started. Now, talking about another aspect of your question was that, whether there were rejections into the market when we started. I think I would say in the initial stages, because of our experiences, people knew that these people are ethical guys to be working with, and our face was known into the corporate for quite some time, and hence some challenges that normally an entrepreneur faces was a bit different for us. How? Initially, the ones who knew us, they actually joined the overall organizations, products and services they purchased. But eventually, when it grew to a next level of clients who did not know us, they started asking about our legacy.
Mm-hmm.
They started asking about the quality of the training products. For example, Directors Institute's flagship program of independent directors was out to the market.
Mm-hmm.
People started asking questions about the credibility.
Mm-hmm.
Then I believe definitely every entrepreneur goes to that phase where they have to answer all these things. and still stand into the market stating that yes, I am here to support you. I am here, believe me, trust in me. Now that is the challenge which every entrepreneur has to go through. And we, because of the wonderful pillars, I think we had been able to answer all those challenges. In fact, there was, once we moved from the previous organization, and we were starting something which was somewhere or the other linked to what we did in the previous organization. There were certain mails also rolled out into the market to the CXO community, stating that these people did some unethical practices, due to which they are no more the part of the organization. However, we followed every possible step to move out of their organization. That was the time we actually managed that challenge, where everyone who believed in us and took the services of the previous organization, they said, we believed in you guys, but I don't know what this mail is all about. We handled those challenges even. And today, I believe those are the greatest friends of ours who actually now trust in us that, okay, that was some sort of miscommunication sent out into the market, but these are the guys who are ethical. So every journey, every step came out of with lot of, we can say, challenges. I would say for an entrepreneur, these should not be regarded as challenges. This should be BAU. And the moment you say that it is business as usual, you stay calm, you stay normal, okay, they want some more inputs from my side to build trust in me, and I should be giving them, right? So that's how it happened. And when it comes to the overall financials which are required to start the organization, the biggest investment that we did was of our experiences.
Okay.
We spent sufficient amount of time in corporates, and people knew that because of their experiences, and that the experience that they're investing in the organization, we should be able to trust them. And that's the place where the first webinar or first seminar that we did, and we received a great response from the team, because from the crowd, from the participants. Reason being that we were pioneers, we were knowledgeable, and we knew every damn thing which was required to become an independent director, which nobody in the country knew at that point in time. And furthermore, the next part of this overall process comes building up the team, apart from all three of us. That is a place where a few people who actually believed in us, thinking that, okay, though it is a small team, it is just a startup, we should actually explore and believe in them. They knew that worked with us in the past, and they knew that for a fact that we are ethical individuals, we will make sure that things go in the right direction and everything is taken care of. Those people also believed. And touch wood, with God's grace, I believe the moment we started the organization, we did not have that fear of whether the next salary of ours would come or not, or the next salaries of our employees would come or not. So I think it's all about managing everything as a BA.
Wow, that's a long and very interesting answer, and I think that it makes any audience to get convinced that your journey was not more of a challenge. It was taking challenges deliberately and converting them into successful modes. That's great. That's very interesting to know. And I also see that the stimulus in you could have percolated in the others and the other members who have invested based on a belief system. So I think the belief system is the most important aspect of any entrepreneurship. Right. So I would possibly focus my attention to a person who is very silently watching this conversation. Mr. Ayub, from your side, there's one area which is a very important area in this, is financial resilience. So from your side, from the financial side of building the organization is extremely critical because that's the backbone of the company. How did you approach into the funding agencies? What were your earlier, again I'm not saying challenges, complexities, and what advice did you receive from people? Because not that everything is you know very well. There are also possibilities and challenges. So what methodology you follow to convince people and to build the financial model to make this organization to start more successful?
Thank you so much for the question. So, it is a very interesting story to share actually. Like any other startup, so fund is something we required. Like any business or any entrepreneur, right? We don't go for those traditional methods or options. Like for taking a loan from bank or borrowing from friends and family or going for an angel investor. Neither we spent our lifelong saving. We actually got funded by our earliest group of clients.
Mm-hmm.
They believed on our idea so much that they paid in advance for the services they were supposed to receive in future. So for us, it was the highest form of validation of our ideas and values. So we didn't part away with our equities. We got it out of trust and belief. So everything starts with belief, as Zeeshaan said. When it comes to believing on each other, when it comes to people believing on us while working with us, or clients believing on us. So this trust system that we developed, actually, it helped us a lot. It brings me to a line once quoted by Mr. Namal Ravikant, and that is, the best form of business or business model is when your client actually funds your growth. That's what we actually did. We were actually funded because we designed something people actually wanted. We designed something that was not present at that point of time. We literally created an ecosystem which was appreciated by our first client, and afterwards we have seen how it performed. So yes, we were actually been funded by the first group of clients.
Oh, it's really interesting to see that the client that funded you and you really developed the financial model for yourself. So that underscores, one is the trust the client had in you. Two is the model that you built has more longevity. And third is there is a scope for him to grow along with you.
Exactly.
Am I right? Right. Okay. Right. That really gives me a kind of a skeletal background about how three of you together and independently built up this organization to the first level. I come back to Mr. Mehta. Since I look at you more like a strategist, and your way of talking gives me a kind of an impression that you could possibly convince anyone if you have the right choice and the right person. So, could you take us back a little for your first experience in defining the moment when you knew this model has worked, and today you have almost 5,000 happy clients clocked just last year, which is extremely interesting and challenging. How has that early belief evolved in a moment of meaningful impact? And how do you see this as a standpoint to grow further, taking people with more complexities?
Well, that's in fact a dynamic question, I would say. Earlier those days when we just discussed in the session that we had the initial pool of our clients who showed that trust and faith in our idea, and they proactively invested. And they said that we'll wait until your program is designed, until your course is ready for us on the platform. Now, those days we didn't have the automations, the technologies in place. So we used to invite people using our own mobile phones, calling them, requesting them to attend the webinar, sending them emails to attend the webinars. And we used to have butterflies that, okay, tomorrow is the webinar, how many people are going to attend? We've invited thousands of them, and then we see that good 100, 150 are there on the screen. So first step is that, okay, these guys trust us. That's the first thing that we see. And then the discussion in the webinar happens. Clients are educated. Clients are discussed with the gaps, the demands and the supplies. We have expertise how that they can use it and take the organizations to the next level. But the essence that was missing in their profile will be taken care by Directors Institute. And once the session is over, after all the explanation, I'm fortunate enough to speak, to interact with these clients, because I usually love to flash my number on the screen so that I can interact with them. Immediately after the session was over, I get a call from one of the clients and says that I want to discuss my profile and see whether I fit in your institute for this course. And I was very happy. Someone who is an MD and CEO in a listed company wants to discuss with me whether his profile fits in my institute. That's a big achievement for me, the first webinar, and that's coming. So I discussed his profile, I discussed the roles that he have handled, I discussed his entire career journey. His expertise in the organization was only limited to the board that he was serving. That was his own organization. But expertise that he had was in fact required in other organizations as well, as a non-executive director, as an independent director. So I explained, I educated everything, and he said, fine, that sounds interesting. And we have a practice of taking the admissions on the same day.
Okay.
So he tells me that, okay, what's the process? How can I move ahead? So I said that you have to complete the admission process and then our team will take care of it. So then send me the admission link. Now, when you speak with the first client tells you to send the admission link, you have 10 things going in your mind before you take the second call. So I was just going through the payment gateway page, okay, is he on the payment page? Has he started, has he initiated the transaction? I wasn't able to see anything. For good 30-35 minutes, I said, fine, I missed on something to cover on that. And all of a sudden, after an hour, I see that person has completed the admission.
Okay.
He paid the fees. And like a small kid, I was first I jumped off my chair and I said, EP, I got my first client.
Okay.
And then I said that let's get on a phone call quickly. We got the first client. But after having the first client, we said that, yes, guys, now let's do one thing. Let's ensure that quality should be best, because 50% of your business depends on the way you serve to the clients, the quality, the service that you provide to the clients. They'll refer. Okay, I am doing my corporate governance program, my ESG, my technology program, the Directors Institute. Even you should try it. Now, someone will only talk those lines if that person has received good experience. And that's what happened. So we were very happy, we were very excited, and on the same day we bagged some more clients as well, continuing with the same practice, same strategy. When we talk about 5,000 happy clients last year, well, it's a good number, I would say.
Yeah, it's a great number.
Yeah, it's a fantastic number, but we never gun for any number. Trust me, I have good 10,000 plus clients right now. And we just want to ensure that we give them the best service, and this number will keep on increasing. We believe in one thing, that if you're speaking with one client, you should only give your time to that client. I mean, if your phone is ringing, you have another client on a call with you, that's fine. You give them a call back later on, but you're speaking with the client has dedicated that 15-20 minutes to you. Give your time. And the best practice that we follow is not like a typical sales kind of a thing. You know, when you watch something, when you attend some seminars, immediately after an hour you get a call that, hey, this is what we have for you. Why don't you go ahead and buy it? Why don't you invest in this? But ideally, educating the client is extremely important, rather telling that this is good for you. It's always advisable to show them the right direction.
Okay.
And when they understand that, yes, this is something that I'm missing on my profile, that is a sale for you. That is how you can get your clients and then ensure the journey of your client is extremely important. 5,000 is a good number. I believe that should increase this year.
Wonderful. That's nice. But I have one question to add on to this. Maybe it's open to all. You might be getting clients with different disciplines, different backgrounds. One could be hardcore technologists, one could be a person from entrepreneurial skills, one could be. How do you manage to understand their, I would say, background skills and try to correlate with your entrepreneurial training so that both together will accelerate his growth as an independent director?
So I'll keep it very simple on that, is that corporate governance does not understand any domain language. It is neutral for everyone. No matter you are from technology, you're from finance, you're from healthcare, any domain. By end of the day, when you are serving the board, you should know how to read the documents. You should know whether the company is making profit. You should know whether the ethics of the company, the compliances of the company, the documentations of the company are in place.
Mm-hmm.
Now that is something a professional, whether he's from technology background, sales background, human resource background, if they learn that, along with the skills they carry, this will be an added weightage in their profile.
Okay.
An expertise of a technology guy on a board plays a very vital role, I would say. People still think, when I speak with the tech guy, they say that, okay, I'm a tech guy, how is this course going to help me? How can I serve the board? Right? But they don't know by end of 2027, 2028, when the entire world will completely transform to digitization. Right?
Yeah.
You don't have to build the solution if you're part of the board.
It's already there.
Yeah, it's already there. But if there is an advanced movement in automation and a quotation is there on the table, you should tell, hey, I am a tech guy, I know the quotation, the budget that you have given is not in place. Can you please rework it? Someone who does not know about technology is part of the board may sign it off. But someone who knows it can at least ask to recall and rework on the discussion and the decision. So that's how I believe. And that gives me a great thing that after getting the first client or any first sale, to be precise, anyone in any business, you feel like a kid. And it's rightly said that you have a kid in you. It comes out at the right time.
So that's a good way of handling the clients, because today board's composition and diversity is a key driver to any businesses. Many times I see that they have a homogeneous mechanism by which the business and the product cycle is very good, but the board does not have the diverse people to think.
Correct.
And that's where the lies remain and the low bell, although they could have to be a better performer in the industry.
That's right.
So I think that your strategy is certainly very, very exciting to anyone, and I think you do a lot of homework on that, and that's the reason the conversion level goes and keeps your boss happy.
No, I'm not a boss. They are the bosses.
And I think all the people are your bosses. All right. Let me come back to Mr. Pathan. Is your position of Director Institute is more than just a certification, because I believe that certification is a validation of your skills in a certain domain. Okay. Now, branding and leadership. How do you approach shaping the individuals who carry the Director Institute's name into real boardrooms? Because everybody has got a certificate. Okay, and everybody will say, I'm good. Now, how do you make the difference, and how your certificate can add a more value, it is icing the cake. So, what are your comments on that, and what is the kind of thought process you have in your mind?
Right. So, after anyone takes education from any institution for that matter, the only tangible thing that they can take away from that institution is that certificate. The only tangible thing that could be shown to someone.
Yeah.
Apart from that, everything is intangible, it's here, it's there in the personality. But certification is just a derivative, I would say, a certificate that shows that, okay, the person has done this, right? Now, especially the ones who have done the certifications from Directors Institute, because of the way the program has been designed, the SMEs, the national, international serving directors, they take these sessions, the way the curriculum has been designed, in itself places them separately from the other people, reason being that they would be, first of all, getting out of that screening mode and then get into the conversation mode, where the profiles are considered at least for the conversation. Because generally that also does not happen. Now, once a person is there in front of the interviewer, maybe a chairperson or another board member, and for that conversation, during that conversation, I would say almost 90-95% of the question they would be able to answer, because the kind of download that they take from this program enables them to do that.
Okay, can I interpret in the middle?
Sure,
Okay.
please.
Now, when you said about the curriculum, because I think the curriculum acts as a facilitator
Yes.
to make a person to move and grow to that level. So when you are building your curriculum, and let's say there are 10 institutes doing the same thing, how your curriculum is being built, what factors do you consider while building that curriculum? And then the certification will augment the curriculum and the person's performance to make them eligible to be a board member.
Right. So first of all, when I talk about how the curriculum is designed when it comes to the basic structure, there is a lot of research that goes behind, and Ayub is the one who takes care of all these research work. And our curriculum does not work the way the curriculum works for the other institutions, maybe some universities and institutions which work very bureaucratic. Because anything that has happened yesterday, we incorporate today in our curriculum. That might take almost a year's time to the other universities to do it, but it takes only 1 day's time with the complete agility with which Ayub and his team works. I believe we incorporate anything which is the need of the hour. Immediately after it becomes the need of the hour. For example, AI for leaders. It has become the need of the hour, and this Ayub has already worked on it when the other universities and institutions are still thinking of it. He has already implemented that. So I think, and the curriculum in itself is not sort of a watertight compartment. It actually keeps on evolving. We remove things which are obsolete. We add things which are required.
It's flexible.
It's flexible.
That's good.
So if I may add here around curriculum thing, because I'm into this. Today we're living in a world. I mean, there is information on anything, on any domain, any industry. I mean, it's huge, trillions bytes of information there. So I read a document last week by IT ministry. What they wrote is, it is extremely tough today to ensure that human resource is updated and current as per the requirement of the industry. It is really tough. I mean, the way the world is changing is very, very fast.
Yes.
So, when our competitors are trying and struggling to ensure that they give the current thing, we are planning for the future actually. How do we do it? We really speak with industry experts, we speak with the corporate heads, we speak with ambassadors, we speak with embassies and chambers of commerce and researchers, think tanks. We really travel the world for this, for that matter. When we say that this quality of our curriculum is international, we really mean it. We visit other countries and discuss with them what are their best practices. So, as you said about diversity for that matter, diversity in curriculum is extremely important. Maybe it's ESG, technology, corporate governance, and international diplomacy. When Zeeshaan spoke of agility, a very interesting example. Last month there was a client who called up and said, "So I have joined your institute, and this ICDP, which covers corporate governance of different countries, economies, and institutions. I am someone who is taking care of a company which is in Netherlands. But your course doesn't have it. Is it possible to include it?" We did it for her.
Okay.
And we did it in a week.
Wow.
So that's kind of speed we have. Today we're living in a world where fast is beating slow, not the big beating the small. So we are pretty agile. We're pretty fast with whatever we do. And we spend heavily in research and development.
So that means you can tailor make it for the individuals also.
So, yeah.
But the cost component of making it tailor-made, does it match with the cost that the person spends? For example, if I say that I want a course in international diplomacy and you make a course for that, but don't you think that you need to work out the cost component also?
Yeah, it is very practical to think that way. But at times we keep the cost aside just to ensure our client has their experience.
Yeah. So that shows that WDC goes beyond and walks a mile with the client and goes for client satisfaction.
Exactly.
There's one element, since you mentioned all this, which is now coming in a major way, is risk management and cybersecurity issues. We do see this cybersecurity as a major threat to all the corporates. So, does your curriculum incorporate these issues also, or are there any case studies that you incorporate in your training process?
Yes, we have incorporated all this just explained and beyond that. Cybersecurity, AI, blockchain, machine learning, IoT, we have incorporated everything. We have, it seems like how can we incorporate all these things in one course? Giving exactly what they need there lies the skill set. Curating. We are in a world, we are curating the content. Content is, there are like hundreds and thousands of books available. But what exactly we are supposed to give to that person, that individual who's supposed to lead the boardroom? There we work. There we research. We have to give them more and less. They don't have like years and years of time to go through those fat books. So we do research and we try to give as much as possible in those limited length of the course.
Okay, so that really shows how WDC is so cautious about what is happening in day-to-day affairs, what are the anticipated threats and challenges, and you try to build that in the curriculum so that every individual not only gets the conventional thinking but goes beyond that, more futuristic. And I think that this is a pretty unique feature of WDC, which I have not experienced as an international specialist. I do see that most of even the big, large organizations, they go with a very standard methodologies. They do have some variations. But this kind of fast movement of change involves knowledge space, critical thinking, and approach to solve the problems of the client. So WDC is certainly doing something extraordinary, which I think is pretty unique, which everybody should take an attempt to join. All right, Mr. Ayub, I believe that you've been a person more from a research background. You've been doing the content development, which is a very important integral part of any training. How does a director institute get involved from adapting courses based on clients' feedback and market research? Because what is needed is what the client wants, A. B is what the market is going to demand from a futuristic point of view. We all have to look more futuristic. And how by forging the right collaborations with institutions and introducing what is called as tech-led programs in the corporate governance could facilitate individuals who are taking your course. How do you validate these decisions or new solutions before bringing to the market?
Again, research is a very important part of any institution for the matter. We do research multidimensional for that matter, researching about academia, researching the industry, researching the other geographies. We do that, very, very deeply. For example, while researching about the current market conditions and government policies, we came to know that this technology, maybe it AI, blockchain, or IoT, these are actually leading the scenes in the boardrooms, in industries. Every company is being impacted, and they are actually changing their policies and working styles and strategies as per this development in technology. So obviously these are very important things, and the individuals who are leading conversations in boardrooms are supposed to be aware of it. First is this. Second, while researching and going through what industry is going through, what corporates are going through, we saw that individuals who are actually leading the boardroom are generally people who are at their 50s and 60s with grey hairs. They are not comfortable with technology. So when we are living in a world we cannot do away with technology, and people are not sitting with this piece of knowledge, obviously there is a need, there is a gap. So this research in itself validates the fact, okay, there is a need for some courses which should align the thought process of these leaders around technology. That's why we designed one. We designed this digital directorship program, which included every aspect of technology, maybe depending upon the industry, healthcare, automotive, banking, and oil and gas. Also, we have ensured that we take care of this fact that while covering every aspect of technology, we are not making it, too heavy for someone like a boardroom leader who don't have that much of time to consume everything. We have ensured that it is concise, only the relevant piece of information we are covering, only we are covering the things that is, functional part of it for that matter. We obviously will not give coding or that detailed piece of technology that is a coder would need, not a leader. So when we launched this particular product in the market, there was no other institution offering this. We were the first one. And when we did it, it was further validated by the clients when they actually responded with good number of enrollments and good feedbacks about that course and that program. And after we launched it, we saw that in 2-3 quarters our competitors doing the same thing. So we created a ripple effect in the market. Now there are more than dozens institutions and organizations who are offering the same kind of courses. Though we ensure that we keep on updating, improvising, and iterations keeps on happening with our courses and models, so that we are 2 steps ahead of the market and the competitors.
So that must be a pretty challenging one.
It is a challenging work for us and for our research team specifically.
I see. So you probably do some market forecasting, and you have a special research cell for this?
We have a research team who does the market forecast for the kind of content they are supposed to develop depending upon the policy changes government is doing, depending upon the economic cycle for that matter, depending upon for example, this war happening between the 2 countries. We consider all those things. We consider each and every factor because every movement around the globe is impacting other part of the world and the companies working at. Today we are living in a world, every company is connected with different geographies, different countries. So obviously we have to be aware of it, and accordingly we have to design content and strategies and the program.
Oh, in that case, do you think or have you made an attempt, since you are taking a kind of a curriculum structure that not only looks from a local point of view or a national point of view, you could possibly even have more stakeholders from overseas. Have you made any attempt to sell this model you're thinking from a global perspective?
So we are already present in Middle East.
Mhm.
We are selling our courses and training programs in Middle East, in Singapore, in London. So we are already there. As far as collaborating with these institutions and partnering with these bodies, we have been trying. We have been traveling the world for that matter. We have recently did one collaboration with one of the oldest institute in the world, university in the world. We have collaborated with many chamber of commerces. We have collaborated with many corporates. So these collaborations comes from different perspective. At times it's because of exchange of the manpower. When we think that we are actually training someone for boardroom roles, if we can actually facilitate an entry to a country, to a boardroom, to a geography through our channel, we try to make an attempt for that as well. So we believe in partnership actually. We three only cannot lead the world, obviously. Collaborations are the key. Partnerships are the key. So, irrespective of the kind of partnership we are doing, we ensure we try for it.
Okay, so it also gives room for people from the other countries, maybe the neighboring countries, maybe less developing countries, can also take up your course from a global perspective and upgrade their skills. So I think WDC should look at from that point of view also as an outreach programs, because most of the institutions do this. And outreach programs are more successful because one, they are short term, they give different areas from a standpoint of performance, scalability of the business, and at the same time understanding the cross cultures. And today cross cultures make a very important impact in any businesses. So I think WDC should look forward, and with your research and intensity, I see the scope not only for directors to look at the program from a local point of view, but also from an overseas perspective.
Just to add what you said, cultural respect. We literally designed one course on cultural intelligence, where the leaders are supposed to understand how things works in different culture. Obviously, we cannot practice the same kind of traditions or the way we communicate, the way we shake hands or say hello or send an email. It is different at different countries. When a leader is speaking with a leader in Middle East, it is completely different. Somebody gives a bow, somebody exchanges your hand, somebody will simply nod your head. Depending upon different culture, we have to respond differently. And so this is something we have already included in our curriculum.
Alright, so that will help probably multinational companies to come and join you, because people in the multinational companies do actually are global throttlers and they try to do businesses across the globe. So your course can be a facilitator in improving their scalability and understanding the cross cultures for doing good business. I think I certainly see that as a unique proposition compared to the other institutions. Good. I possibly consider that your work culture, your work ethics has a more, I would say, words to speak by action than what you are delivering it by itself. All right. As we progress, I see a lot of new things emerging in your institution, like what's called Board Search AI. Mr. Heval, probably can I put my question to you?
Yeah, sure.
All right. I understand that Board Search AI is a smart initiative, and I think it's a very timely worded Board Search AI is a very timely worded concept, because today everybody is on searching the right people, the right manpower, the right people on board. What sparks your idea, and how does it open the doors for professionals who are already for board roles but don't always have the right network? Because what's important is to get the right connect. I may be the most smartest person, but unless I am known, I'm not being hired. So what is the critical factor that makes people to come out of this, and how does Board Search function?
Board Search, I would say, a fantastic name. I'll tell you how actually the idea of board search took place. We were in London and we were awarded the House of Commons.
Wow.
And during the networking session post the dinner, senior professionals of various other countries, they started meeting us, interacting with us. They wanted to know more about what Directors Institute actually provides, what kind of courses you are given, how that is going to help a professional in building their career. I said, fine, this is what we do. I said, okay, fine, what else? I said, what else? As in, are we missing something in this? So whilst we were returning from UK to India, in flight, I was just gathering all my thoughts. I remember we all three were seated and there was a dinner that was offered in the flight. So the thoughts that was in my mind are, okay, if I was in search for what is it that I was doing for the clients. Okay, I got a mandate. I started hunting. I checked whether this profile is relevant. Is this portal right to get this candidate? If not, the step 2 that ideally I used to take is approach that candidate on LinkedIn.
Okay.
It takes 10-15 days for a senior professional to revert on LinkedIn. You will not have mobile numbers, email IDs. Even if you have, you cannot rely on it. It may be wrong, it may be incorrect. So from there, whilst having lunch, or while having dinner in the flight, we said, let's do something for our clients. I said, something? What is it like? We are doing good. We just got an award. We thought that. Like these, we have close to 10,000 professionals in our pool, and these guys are familiar faces now, but they are not on the right portal. So companies and executive search firms, if they are looking for a senior professional to lead their company, they won't get the right fit in the organization.
Yeah.
So let's do one thing, let's design a model. We'll design a model in a way, it will not be considered as an ordinary job portal. If you check in ordinary job portal, someone whose annual CTC is 5 lakhs or his monthly CTC is 5 lakhs will be there on the portal. Boardsearch.ai will have professionals only and only, first of all, pursuing the course with Directors Institute.
Okay.
Second, will only be a senior professional, because these guys are not available easily in any industry or not available to work with anyone. Now, when this idea was there, we first had the discussion with 15-16 clients of our own that, okay, this is something that we are planning for. How is it? It's fantastic. What a great response from our client. So we started building the product.
Okay.
First thing came, what should be the name? Find right now what kind of course we are giving. We are providing, and we are manufacturing board members. That's what the word that came in my mind. So let's do one thing. We had some names, and then we finalized that let's give it board search. So fine, board search. Okay. The world is now talking more about technology, talking more about AI, talking more about machine learning. Let's add technology to it.
Okay.
So it becomes easy for any organization, it becomes easy for any search firm. So we named it and we completed as boardsearch.ai. Now, if I am looking for a board member in my organization, I checked the other portals, I did not find the right candidate. Then that company approaches my team and asks, hey, I'm looking for a CEO. This is the job description. Can you give me some profiles? So we said, fine. Our team took around good 5-6 days. And in 5-6 days, ideally we have shared close to 50-60 odd profiles to them.
I see.
They gave us the diversity we require. This should be the age group. This should be the highest qualification. These many certification. Everything. We got everything in there. We forwarded the profile and successfully the candidate was placed. And they asked us, is there any fee involved? So right now we've just started and we wanted to be better in this project, and then we'll discuss about that later on. Same thing we discussed during our summit, the event that we had, corporate governance summit that we had, that was in JW Marriott,
Oh.
in presence of 15 plus ambassadors, we inaugurated BoardSearch.ai. In light of former chairman of SEBI, Mr. M. Damodaran was present. Former aviation minister, Mr. Suresh Prabhu, was present in that event. Along with that, what was important for those 1200 CXOs in the event was how can we connect with these search firms. We had close to 50 executive search firms present over there who are partnered with Directors Institute, and whenever they are working on any mandate, they just connect with us and we forward the profile to them. So they were very happy, and when the cards were exchanged between the CXOs and the executive search firms, they started interacting with each other, and we were not even aware. In last month, there were 50 plus candidates who were placed, not only as a board member, but at a designation which is better than what they were. CTC, better than what they used to draw. Then we added AI in that. Now, I'll give you a very simple example. After that, something new that came. Search firm said that we will share the job description with y'all. Y'all put it on your portal. The ones who apply, send us those profiles. Now it's not necessary that if I think that, okay, my profile is relevant to this, but there are certain keywords that is missing. So the ideal typical screening pattern of any search firm is that they'll check, okay, if these things are meeting, okay, only then we'll connect with these clients. So in that, what we did is that the candidates who are actually relevant for the role were getting dropped because keywords were not matching. Adding AI in board search really helped these candidates, and percentage of onboarding of these profiles increased all of a sudden. So your profile with support of AI will be designed in a way it matches the job description.
Okay.
It will not create a fake profile, but it will be a profile, keywords that was missing, projects that you did but it was not mentioned, it will match the job description. And that really helped in success of BoardSearch.ai. Currently, I can proudly say that I have close to 60 plus retained executive search firms. That is a big difference. Retained executive search firms who ideally charges first to the company before taking any project. I have close to 500 listed and unlisted companies, right? I would say MNCs to be more precise, right? Who are accessing BoardSearch.ai, and they are getting good results because they don't find these professionals on any other portal. One of the dynamic projects, I would say, BoardSearch.ai, and it's just the beginning. We have multiple ideas, good plans that we will be implementing in BoardSearch.ai, and it has really changed the way the hiring cycle is. The ideal hiring cycle is that if you have announced a position, it takes 3 to 4 months to speak with the candidate. But introducing BoardSearch.ai, in 3 to 4 months, the candidate is onboarded. Big difference. And that impact created by World Development Corporation by adding and introducing BoardSearch.ai, I would say that has resolved the hiring problems of a search firm, hiring problem of executive search firms, and listed and unlisted companies globally. So BoardSearch is fantastic.
That's an amazing one. I think that this is something a unique factor which I don't think people normally do this. With HR companies go with a very standard operating procedures. And you are probably having a ready reckoner for the people to work on. Saves time, saves energy, and gets the right person.
Quick results.
Yes.
Yeah.
And more sustainable.
And more than anything else, I would regard it as a repository of super senior professionals who are not actually looking out for the roles. They are reached out by the company. And it would be an honor for a company to have those people on their boards or leadership positions. So I think, in my perspective, it is a repository of super senior individuals.
I think you're doing a fantastic job. And I think WDC needs to be acknowledged for the kind of unique, I would say, model that you have built it up. This not only facilitates the companies, corporations. It also gives them the right people, and what I will possibly add on is qualitative people to facilitate their business, take them to better verticals.
One thing that these corporates really like about BoardSearch.ai, I would say, is that professional that we will get from BoardSearch.ai is well trained on corporate governance, has knowledge about corporate governance of various other countries, is inclined with reading and understanding the ESG reports, and also understands technology.
So multiple skills.
Multiple skills. So it's difficult to get that in one profession. And ideally, there is a budget announced, and so, but this really helps. In one professional, if you find all these qualities, you would not mind in hiring them. So that's what BoardSearch is all about.
I think it's a fantastic job that's really done. Because I've not heard companies doing this at this level, and you've done in-depth study on all the requirements first and then involved in this whole process.
Yes.
So I think I appreciate Mr. Heval for, I think you've been spearheading this whole process.
Everyone, I would say.
All right. All right, great. Mr. Pathan, I've been hearing something about your talks, your milestones with Oxford University, and which is one of the most prestigious universities for some kind of collaborations. How did the collaboration came about, and what does it say about global positioning with the Directors Institute? Because it's absolutely a challenging, I would say, situation to have the name Oxford penned down in any other private organization.
Blood and sweat is required to get that, I would say.
Oxford, in a sense, I would say, as you did discuss and mention, that the European culture is a bit different. It takes time. They also go through a lot of background check of any organization before getting into any affiliation. And in fact, Oxford is known for not tying up with anyone. We are proud that we are tied up and we are partnered. We are in collaboration with them. Now, essentially, it is all about patience, I would say, right? And patience of years, not just days or months, but patience of years. The whole idea here is that Directors Institute's programs are now supported by the presence of additional certification programs coming from the Site Business School, University of Oxford.
Okay.
Not just that, they are also, and we have created that kind of platform along with them, which is not at all seen anywhere else. And that platform gives them an alumni status of the Site Business School, University of Oxford. So you can call yourself as an alumni of Site Business School or Oxford Site.
Okay.
Now that, in fact, I would say was one of the things in many of the senior folks' profiles which is missing, that is coming from a strong pedigree, right? Then essentially, very senior folks would not go to these universities quite often because they are anyways involved into their day-to-day activities. They cannot go for longer courses and so on and so forth. And hence, this platform was created so that by giving them certain shorter programs, keeping in mind their experiences, they are given alumni status. Not alumni, because alumni is definitely given to the ones who do the long-term in-person programs, but alumni status is something which is given to these senior folks who pursue the programs through us. So I think getting a status coming from an institution embedded within the legacy of a 1,000-year-old university itself says a lot. And I would say nobody would want to miss out on that opportunity which is created by Directors Institute.
Oh, that's absolutely fantastic. I don't think that even Indian institutions, premier institutions like the IIMs have been able to do that, because Oxford wanted to set up its own branch here, and that there have been many policy makers who got involved, but they were not successful. It certainly adds more value proposition to your institution. May I ask an added question to this is, what are the kind of courses that individuals or directors can take up under this model?
So they can take up courses related to AI, AI for leaders, AI and business analytics, plus business essentials which are required for the senior folks, which includes top-notch skill set and concepts of management, specific to advanced management, I would say.
Okay.
Because general management or generic management concepts are known to every CXO, but when you have grown beyond 15, 17 years of experience, you are looking for advanced management concepts. So those are accessible to these individuals through the programs.
Okay, has it already started?
Yeah, it's already started, it's already there out in the market. People have already opted for it. Existing participants have upgraded themselves to the Oxford SED's alumni status based program. So I think we are all set with all that.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think that's a feather in the cap. All right. Let me possibly look at some of the things that I'm looking from a futuristic point of view. To Mr. Ayub, as WCT grows globally and you're looking to outreach beyond the local Indian context, what shifts or trends do you see in shaping the future leadership and executive education? As we speak, there is a transition, and especially in the board-ready professionals. So, what are the constituents that you are looking at 5 years from now? Let's say 2020, 2030, 2035, how the world is going to change. Because everything is going to be, as Heval said, is AI driven. So you need to incorporate those aspects. So keeping that in mind, how leadership should change, A. Two, how leadership should be able to assimilate that knowledge and how WDC can be a facilitator.
As you rightly said, world is changing. It's changing very fast. So to cope up with that change is not an easy task. Where the self-life of knowledge is actually shrinking. Where the self-life of a skill is shrinking. 3 decades back, any skill would have been in the system for like 25 years. Now it is like 8-9 years. You have to evolve and reskill yourself. Now when we talk about leadership, there was a time when you could have been an expert of one discipline and could lead the boardroom and the company. Today we are living in a world where industries collide. There are intersections between geographies. So multidisciplinary thinking is what is needed.
Yes.
We are supposed to know corporate governance, ESG, technology, banking, human resource, everything. How do we do it? Obviously, you cannot be expert of everything. So, this type of leadership is what required. You be an expert of 1 or 2 disciplines, and you know rest of the remaining, at least to the level that you can speak and understand. Develop courses in a way that will let these professionals, these leaders, out of their functional silos. We ensure that by the time they complete our courses and training programs, they were aware of these multidisciplines. They are in a situation to connect those dots. They are in a situation to speak with every group of people, industry, and domains in their languages. That is what I think future leaders really need in today's world. That is what we see that world is changing towards. There is one more important point. The way we looked at boardrooms earlier, somebody, I spoke of it in the last conversation as well, who spent like 5-6 decades in the boardroom, in industry, can only lead the boardroom. But today we are living in a world, more than number of years you have been around, what is important is how much you can deliver, how much you can execute. It's all about performance. If you're a person who can lead the conversation in the boardroom, you can do it. For example, Nitesh Agarwal, who has founded Oyo, he did it at an age of 26. The company was worth $10 billion. So age is just a number now. Neither a person who is too young to lead any scenario, nor someone who is too old to grow and learn. So irrespective of the age you are in, you should keep learning and learning multidiscipline.
Right. So you consider that WTC platform can bridge this gap, not looking from the age point of view, but making young professionals to enter the boardroom earlier and facilitate the entire process of the vision of the company. One. Two is to make qualitative strategic decisions for the company to grow and make not only their contribution as a leader, but also lead the rest in the same direction.
Exactly. So eventually the thing is, what we're trying to do, we're trying to work as a catalyst for these people. Like starting the time needed to land on a boardroom. Not 4 decades, not 2 decades, maybe a couple of years. Obviously, it depends upon your expertise as well, what you are carrying with yourself. But yes, eventually, the plan is, can we actually ensure that we can create leaders faster than what has been happening traditionally?
All right. Thank you. I think that's a very nice, interesting insight, because what I see today is technology and leadership are two sides of the coin. And both are driven by sheer passion for a vision. And WTC would be the organization that instills in the minds of the people that if you have these two components in a more successful manner, in a heterogeneous way, you can actually become more competitive in not only the boardroom, but allow the industry to perform to reach new heights, which I think is an excellent move. I've heard almost all the three of you having different diverse thinking, but WTC seems to be giving a different message to the people. Take an attempt to join. Take an attempt to make a meaningful contribution not only for yourself, but also for the society. All right. So to continue with my conversation, let me possibly ask Mr. Ayub, you've been in the forefront of building some new launches also. So you have the most recent launch, Lottery. It makes waves in legal tech space already. What is the concept of this? What made you to choose this? And why should people take this from your institute?
So I've been around with this category of people, actually, with lawyers. One reason is my wife is a lawyer, and many of my friends are lawyers. I've seen them spending hours and hours of their time researching around cases, drafting late night, and filing those notices. Research is a very important part in this legal people. So what I saw is those work can be done by or automated by a system that we can develop. Then we came up with this idea of Lottery and we developed it. It is an AI-powered tool which can solve all this problem they are facing. What it does is, the hours of time that I put in doing researches, it can do in minutes. It can draft for them, it can file notices, it can, more than that, it can generate arguments for those complex cases, for which generally they spend around days for that matter. So it has the potential to empower lawyers to become smarter, to make them faster and make their life a little easier. I would specifically speak about the first generation lawyers. They are the ones who struggle like anything, at least for those first 2-3 years, for just learning the ropes of legal system. They have to literally run behind the seniors for getting that piece of knowledge that would help them becoming a lawyer actually. But our tool can actually empower them and give them that kickstart. It's like I can consider it as a guru, like Mr. Jetmalani with them always. They can simply refer to those complex sections and bylaws and judgments from the past, just in a click. And not only the junior lawyers for that matter, even the senior lawyers I've seen they hire 5, 6, 7 interns for getting this research work done, for drafting or filing. And for them as well, this tool comes really handy. It really saves lots of money and time. This is a futuristic tool. We are improvising it on a daily basis. We have implemented, we have 300 lawyers working on this particular tool.
Mm-hmm.
We have ensured that we get the feedback from the judges, from the senior lawyers while building it. And we are improvising it every day. We are coming up with new features, new possibilities, which would even enhance the work of this legal community in a greater way. So today it is just a tool though, but we are seeing a future where this tool would be an indispensable thing for this legal community.
I think this is a fantastic idea because India needs this kind of a tool with the number of cases multiplying almost on a daily basis. We have so many cases lying down. Have you made an attempt to put this to the government or any organizations to test the waters and see whether they could be implemented on a large scale basis?
So we have been reaching out to the government for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
We have sent a proposal to Mr. Megwan, the current law minister, the current central law minister of the Indian government, and when we are proposing them to automate and use AI for making this system faster and easier and more efficient. And Lottery can play an amazing role in reducing that number of cases that you said. Currently it is 1.8 crore, which is a huge number and increasing every day. So yes, we have proposed to the government.
Okay, that's really good. I would probably add on one service. You can add it to the students, actually to the law schools.
Yes.
Because most of the law schools do require this kind of proposal and they don't get the interns that very easily. Even the lawyers don't like to hire them. But if you can possibly introduce this through WDC, I'm sure that any law school or a university would definitely come forward to take this as a facilitator that will help teachers, institutions, and also make them understand an unbiased approach in solving legal issues.
We've already done the academic login here to this.
Right.
So students can log in
Very good.
and they can learn.
Well, very good. So probably you need to really market this. I think Mr. Heval could be the right person to help to support this and try to encourage to go to academic institutions.
Of course, yes. So I'll tell you rightly what Zeeshaan mentioned, that the login credentials are already created. The plan is there. We just need to make sure that when it reaches out to the student, they don't have to look back. They are just there, they are getting it, and they'll feel that this is the future. So that's the idea, and it's there. The strategy is on.
Wonderful. That's really will solve a lot of real-time problems and then also make them equipped with using AI as a facilitator in their legal issues. Right. Probably looking at the whole model, Mr. Zeeshaan, AI is no longer just a concept.
Right.
It's a facilitator.
Right.
And it's becoming a real support system to serious professions. From your point of view, how do you see AI changing the way professions actually work? Not just law, but across different disciplines.
Well, I would say that AI is going to impact all the lives. In fact, the concept that we discussed the other day was AI for everyone, AI for all. Just for lawyers is a use case, you can say. Apart from that, whether it is a self-driven car or whether it is a civic amenity which is required to be given by the government to the civilians, or let's say take an example of road and transport industry, road and transport ministry, if they have given out a tender to any company to build, we can even do the estimation of the complete tender with the support of AI, and that would be very precise as well. In healthcare, AI's implementation can detect the diseases well ahead of time. It can increase the longevity of individuals if they are taken care well ahead of time. In pharma, in fact, there's something, one of the most interesting areas in pharma, which is drug discovery. People spend decades, companies spend billions, and still there are possibilities that 99% of the chances that the drug would fail. In those cases, AI's implementation would reduce the costing and time required to discover those drugs substantially. I mean, could be done in 1 or 2 years' time maximum if you are using AI. I would say there is no limit to what AI can do. Now the world is moving slowly towards AGI, general intelligence, where the emotions, the sentiments would be understood by the AI models, and accordingly can even have the power to influence your emotions and your decisions. So AI has come out of just information giving tool. Now it has moved towards understanding your emotions and also replying to you according to your emotions.
Yes. I think I agree with you completely that AI is going to be part of your life in future in almost all the areas, and particularly in the healthcare industry. And I've been involved into this for some time, where I'm introducing what is called medical engineering, which is more related to biomechanics using AI driven. So you do a pre-diagnostics of the patient before the patient actually goes to the doctor. So this mechanism is used by a robot, which is the robot tests your entire body structure and tries to tell you where your problem is. So before you go to the doctor, he understands exactly where the problem lies, and as you said, also the drug delivery system goes exactly to the patient. So you get the right drug and then it gets resolved. So I think AI will be a very good platform.
Right.
And you mentioned about public policy management, which is also an integral part of the system.
Right.
So if WTC can take more initiative in this direction, this is a long thought process. Today the world is facing on global health management,
Right.
and probably WTC's contribution will actually accelerate
Yes.
the government pace. So it will be a public-private partnership. I hope that happens in the long run.
For sure.
Right. Now coming down to one interesting question which I wanted to ask to Mr. Heval is, I find most of your thoughts interesting, and you talked about multiple platforms like DI, Board Search, PropTech, not only. What do you intend to do as a unique sale proposition in this whole process? And the unique sale angle of each WTC doer's offering.
So let me talk about DI right
Yes.
now, because we discussed about the law attorney and board search. I would not say exactly the sales angle, but something that can really benefit an individual after pursuing this. Now, if you check, you do various of learnings, you do a lot of studies, but the world should know about this. So the unique element, I would say, that Directors Institute add to it is by taking care of other aspects, that is giving them the visibility in the market by doing their personal branding, conducting their one-on-one interviews, so the thought of a leader should be on the table, should be expressed through words, so that someone who wants to hire a leader watches that video, understands what exactly the leader actually wants and what his or her vision is all about. To add to it, we recently introduced one very good benefit for our clients, is role plays that once you become a leader, once you become a board member, what all etiquettes you have to follow, how to react in a boardroom, how to put your points across on the table, right? So we ensure that we keep 5 professionals in that meet. One of them plays the role of chairperson, the other plays the role of executive director, one independent director, and so on. And there is a topic given to them, and there is a moderator, an examiner who actually examine the way these professionals answer. And life experience, learnings really help someone to build their own career. So that is a unique element that Directors Institute have added in building someone's career. So that is something interesting.
So I'll just add only one question to that. Maybe a short, brief answer is adapting to the future changes that's going to happen in the future work. So, do you have a kind of a proposal in future that how board should ensure diverse representation and a focus on skills and experience relevant to the current and the future needs of business environment?
So exactly. So when we interact with the clients, we understand what actually market requires. We discuss same thing with our research team. We discuss same thing when we are in our short meet. We understand what is missing, what gaps are required to be filled, discuss about future, what is coming on, and then the research team backs with it. And that really helps in developing a product, developing someone's career. So that is what
connect the dots.
Yes.
All right, thank you. An interesting answer. Looking from a futuristic point of view, I wanted to ask this question to you. We have spoken about WTC's building and communicates powerful ideas across the platforms, which you have mentioned to me. In a way, how do you look at your contribution to international organizations like UNESCO, which I think you did have some kind of connectivity? What was the message that you received in this whole conversation and narrative? Can you tell us your experiences, and then how the voice of WTC became one of the facilitating areas for a global connect?
Well, specifically talking about our recent contribution to UNESCO's policy formation, specifically when we were there last December, the whole conversation was around sustainability, ESG, introduction of AI, and how AI could be utilized specifically for achieving all those sustainable development goals of United Nations.
Okay.
Because that would speed up the process. Our contribution was in terms of having the right policy in place, right clauses being added into the policy. In fact, 70% of the conversation was around how AI and ESG can really be supported by this document being sent out to the member nations so that they ratify and they start implementing all those. I would rather say that other sustainable development goals, which includes elevation of poverty, giving equal rights to women, then availing all types of necessary facilities to the general population. All these are definitely there, but these could be achieved with the support of corporates. Could be done with the support of government involved with the corporates doing this. ESG and corporate governance, according to me, and which is what I also presented, and Heval and Ayub also presented, was that if you talk about the boards have the responsibility of running the economies. If there is right decision taken on the boards, people will believe in the ecosystem, the financial ecosystem, they will invest more, the speed of money increases, And as the speed of money increases in an economy, the economic development will take place. So sustainable developments could be achieved through these. In fact, I would say through just the corporate governance, 9 out of 17 sustainable goals could be achieved directly. And through ESG and AI implemented, all of the 17 sustainable development goals could be expedited.
Okay, I fully agree with you with the kind of thought process you have said, but UNESCO must be already having these AI-driven models. How different it will be when WTC can amalgamate thought processes, and what difference will it make with the influence of WTC's philosophy?
Well, I would say we work on very modern models of AI. Anything which happens yesterday, we start implementing today. Possibly that may not be feasible with United Nations, and specifically when you're talking about these divisions, these partner with partners like us who can give the technology support and supply to them. So not just that, in fact, when we speak of one of the conferences we organized where around 20-25 ambassadors coming from across the globe were there, we also pushed this idea of incorporating AI and contributing into the AI policy formation of those geographies and those countries specifically. The other day, we were also speaking with various state government members. Specifically, we are in conversation with 3 of them who have given their go ahead in terms of we contributing into their AI policy formation for their respective states in India. So I think when it comes to expertise, everyone is looking forward for best brains to be coming together, giving their ideas and forming that document and implementing that document. Formation of the document is one part, but implementation, they would need real experts like us.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. So that's where you create a difference.
Yes.
And I think that your way forward is not only looking from the Indian perspective, but from a global perspective.
Yes.
Probably that might help the third world countries also, because that's an area where they need course correction. Right? Okay, good. Right. Okay. I would possibly like to have some thought process from Mr. Yu. Share your perspective on educational formats. Why in short form targeted learning more relevant today for senior professionals, and how WTC adapts to that shift? Because today senior professionals don't have the time, nor they have the kind of homework to be done to prepare themselves. But at the same time, they want to get them trained to a fast track mode and get adapted to the system. So what are your thoughts on that, and how does your course of work will help in the boardroom?
So let's be honest that by the time we complete a 3-year-old degree, 3-year-long degree, a part of it is outdated already by the time we complete it. So this is an old model, and at least when we speak of the senior individuals, as you rightly mentioned that they don't have time, they don't have that luxury of spending 3 years developing a skill. Right? That's why what we do at WBC is we try to give as much as possible, but try to keep it as concise as possible. Because short courses are impactful. It exactly deliver what they need. We ensure that we keep it very relevant, but still very limited. We try to give more in less. So it is not only about one skill, because as I earlier mentioned, we are in a world where leaders are supposed to know multi-disciplines, multi-skills. So they are supposed to learn again and again, keep reskilling, keep evolving. So these short impactful courses are the need of the hour. Today, we are valuing such leadership where they don't know everything, but they are in a situation to connect everything. So connecting the dots between different disciplines is the need of the hour.
Okay, all right. So by doing this short course, do I understand that it's not the time factor that you take, how much you do, but how well you do, and how you are able to have a course correction in their own progression?
Exactly.
Is that exactly what I understand? All right, fine. Okay. Maybe I'd like to come back to Mr. Heval. In times of these leadership, just about where you're going and how you personally approach in hiring WTC, especially when expectations are high and the world is keep changing. These are the challenges which everybody faces. So how do you formulate a policy or a model by which you will enhance this from a WTC point of view?
So when we talk about hiring, recently we've experienced that there are many candidates who are overpaid to the skills actually what they have. So one thing that we've designed is that keeping in mind WTC, Directors Institute as a brand, we want candidates to be well equipped with the recent technologies. They should be excellent in their communication skills. If I talk about sales, I don't want sales professionals at all. I want someone who can understand the profile of my client, consult them in the right direction, and then show them what exactly the gap is. Now, if you check, we may call it as a sales structure, we may call it as a sales pattern, but it is not only about sales, it is to consult, coaching, and giving them the right insights on their profile. What is the gap? What needs to be added in your profile to get your career to the next level, to upskill your profile. So we keep it very simple and we ensure that brand WDC, Brand Directors Institute, is always intact, because someone who speaks with the client should be upskilled, should know, should be knowledgeable, and if not, should be trainable, so that we can train them and ensure that he is well equipped and he adapts things faster and presents the brand really well. So that is something that we follow.
Okay. So what I understand is it's not sale in isolation.
Correct.
So you do a possibly in sales and build up the other qualities together.
Correct.
So that ultimately it reaches the goal of the employer.
Correct.
To achieve the ultimate goal of the company. Am I right?
That's correct. Yes.
Right? Okay. Good. That's good. All right. So I go back to Mr. Ayub. When we talk about the team strength, we often talk about the vision and the leadership. And this has been always a kind of a pattern for every company. But behind this, there is a structural support. From your perspective, how can finance play in enabling the teams, helping people feel secure, valued, and set up a success? Because the bottom line is, for every employer and the employee, finance is a key driver. So how do you modulate this whole process and see that you keep floating in the business?
So finance is the fuel or the fuel of the engine of the company. But when we think with the perspective of employees, they are coming to our offices, they are showing up every day, leaving their families behind. We are supposed to ensure that we compensate them for their time and the value they are adding. So the most important part is, more than money, the compensation should be in other forms as well. By acknowledging their presence, by creating an environment which enables them growing themselves without we even putting any effort there. It is a system that we have created here in WTC.
Mm-hmm.
People have autonomy and freedom to take their own decisions. They have the freedom to come to us and say, this is something not going right, this is something you have to change. There is a course in the market I think we should develop. So even an intern can do that. So that much autonomy we do provide to our employees. They are literally growing. We can see them grow. I mean, the difference is very substantial. We can feel that when there is a difference between the day we interviewed someone and someone at their completion of 1 year of work anniversary. So that conducive environment is something we promote in the company. And as far as monetary compensation is concerned, when in any company, when somebody is offering a package, for example, you get 10 lakhs, but what you receive is maybe 9 lakh. But in WTC, we do it vice versa. We'd offer you 8, but we give you 9. We always try to, over deliver, not only towards the employee, but even to the client. So this is something, it creates that trust environment even in the mind of employees. Monetary compensation only in terms of salaries is not the only part. So we really consider their future plans. We ask what they are planning for in future. If there's a home they are looking for, if there's a car they aspire for. And when we three sit together, we ensure that we design a plan that these things should be fulfilled in the long run.
Alright. So, if I could possibly summarize your thought process, is that your institution cares more for people's management, and you try to see that the retention is more, and not but in terms of monetary, but in terms of satisfaction and support. And another area which I could hear from you is you're open to ideas. So, which means that you like to invite new young ideas, convert them into possible, opportunities and sustain it. So it's more of teamwork rather than individualistic. So I think you three people are leading from front, but there is a large amount of, I would say, human resource which is supporting you in the equal form to make this organization more successful. I possibly like to wrap up with the rapid fire questions. At the end of this conversation, I think we certainly had a very long and a decisive approach to understand how your organization has a deep thinking from a futuristic point of view. You're a young organization, but your thought process looks more futuristic. Okay, so I would possibly wrap up in just few words, and I'd like to have a rapid fire from all three of you. So I will start with Mr. Zeeshaan. What is the legacy that you have been carrying for so many years? It is not from a formal sense, but you created this and the people's experience to work. How do you like to work with this team? And what you see in the next 5 years, not only in terms of professional growth, but in terms of intensity of making WDC as a unique organization that not only nurtures the top management, but also young interns in your organization.
So, from a standpoint of organization growing in next couple of years or maybe 5 years down the line, our whole idea and aim is to take it to a level of a global leader, which would be the most preferred organization to be working with. That is the first thing.
Okay.
Second, and how would it happen? The only thing that we will be working towards day in and day out, and we have been working towards day in and day out, is building trust. That's it.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So I think trust is the key driver in this entire process, because most of the businesses in the Western countries goes more by trust than by paper work. So that's a very smart way of answering this question. Let me go to Mr. Heval is that every leader hopes to leave behind a mindset, a belief, and there's a belief system, as you said right at the beginning itself. So what is the core factor of leadership from your perspective? And how does your team would deliver in the next 5 years to achieve this milestone of what Mr. Zeeshaan said?
Very good question and a tough one to answer as well. So, team is always there. Team should always be pepped up. One thing that I really want to add over here is that if a leader thinks that he has won the battle, he has lost. The thought process should be different, which should be in alignment with your team. So if there is a problem, there is a defeat, a loss, leader should take the responsibility. And if there is a victory, it's a team who has achieved it. So that is something, if I continue, I'll ensure that my team will be in a line to achieve the vision and mission of World Development Corporation.
Very good. I think you have actually done a kind of a summary session for me of consolidating all our thought process together, because successive planning is very important.
Okay.
And you have been in the forefront right from the beginning, and you've been aggressive in your approach. That really tells me that the company is in safe hands of all of you. To sum up this whole process, there is one area which I want to ask personally, is stakeholders engagement. And it's important that the stakeholders get the same kind of nourished answers and responsibilities. So what is the message that all three of you would give to your stakeholders? And let's assume that a venture capitalist wants to approach you and say that we want to join hands with you, because everybody looks for people. Because when you get money, capital, certainly you can enrich yourself better. So what is the takeaway that you want to give to the stakeholders, to the VCs in the future? Let me start from you.
The first thing I would like to say is that generally what VCs look forward for is a growing business, profitable business, and a business where the clients are ready to pay, right? So I think they have it. Yeah. If they are actually thinking for any VC is looking forward for such kind of an organization, it is there. Where we would like to align is that they should be in line with the overall bigger vision, not just investment of money, but investment from the standpoint of their thought process, standpoint of their necessary connects, which would let the organization grow to all the directions possible that we have planned for.
Mm-hmm.
That is one. Second, from a stakeholder standpoint, I would not just consider only the investors, because stakeholders are your employees, stakeholders are your clients and your vendors. Because an organization, when it flourishes, it actually takes care of all of these. Clients, definitely there are many things that we are coming up with. When it comes to Director Institute as a division, we have a huge list of stacking of knowledge that they can do throughout their life with us. Right? So it's not one-time relationship that we want to establish with our participants in Directors Institute. It's a lifelong relationship that we want to build with them for the lifelong learning. Second, when it comes to law attorney or any other division which is specifically talking about board search AI, we will be on a regular basis updating, upgrading all those solutions to make them better, to ease the lives of all the users who are the equal stakeholders within the organization's growth. So that's about it.
Very good, very good. That gives a very positive vibe to any of the audience who are listening to this conversation, that you personally like to trickle down all the thoughts to all the stakeholders, which doesn't mean only people who are investing, but your employees, right from the grassroots to the top notch. And that would mean broadening your philosophy of societal and issuing a kind of a positive outlook about your organization's vision. And I'm sure that WDC would keep up to their commitment, which it has done in so many years. In a short time, your growth has been phenomenal. The reason I'm saying this is because with the global geopolitical system, you have strived to your best. And that is your testing the stage, and you have achieved this. So, Mr. I would say, Pathan, you will certainly be not only a promising leader in leadership, but you will also try to create resilience to the people and to make them successful in their own career.
Right.
Mr. Ayub, you've always been a silent spectator but a great visionary. This is what I see in you. I think your thought process of building that research model is certainly seen in very few organizations. People talk about R&D, but people don't go into that depth. So, can you tell me from a futuristic point of view, you have almost most of the things in place which any university globally will have. Because I worked in international organizations and I still do work. How do you see yourself moving and broadening your scope of WDC from a global perspective? And how will you look at the strategy that WDC would like to follow, not only to the organization, but also to those organizations which will depend on you?
So we truly believe that we have created a market through niche, but now the time is to diversify. That's why now we diversify with the needs of leadership. For example, we have been leading this training program for the board of directors, aspiring CXOs and leaders. But now we are going to launch a program for teachers through a collaboration with the university in Finland. So we have this strategy that we will trickle down our services to every startup society. We are starting with leaders. We are starting with board directors, then teachers, then maybe some other professionals. We are doing things for lawyers. So eventually the idea is this tagline of ours, taking the world to its best. We mean it, we live by it. We really think that we can contribute at many places, not in the form of only education, through technology, through some different kind of solutions, and we keep looking for problems. We keep looking for such pain of people they go through in their profession, in their businesses, and in their life. If we look at the overall larger goal, we really work minutely to look for those. We look for gaps and try to fill it through our solutions and educational systems. That's what we keep on doing, irrespective of the geography, irrespective of the industry. It doesn't matter. If we are in India or we are in Middle East or in Singapore, we'll keep looking for such problems. We'll try to solve it.
All right. That's good. I think it aligns with what Mr. Pathan mentioned about it. And lastly, to Mr. Heval, I would conclude with the conversation because I began with your conversation with you. I always consider that technology and digital transformation are the two sides of the coin. And you being in the front line, how do you see in the next 5 years the digital transformation would embed not only in providing online training to the people, but can build something like a hybrid where certain levels of personal content, because personal contact of mentoring is also equally important. So, do WDC has any long-term plans to have a hybrid model of not only giving them through an online model, but also a hybrid that will facilitate not only in person, but also offline, which will increase the competency of not only executives, but also people from the middle level?
Yes, we do have. And I would tell you that the online programs has really made life easier. After this growth, after partnering with University of Oxford, we are in discussion so that we can have some batches of good 50-60 professionals of that location. We can interact with them, have offline session, conduct some master classes offline so that they can learn and also understand the other peers so that they can build their own network, come closer, understand, learn from the new mentors, have different point of views, learn good things, and take their career to the next level.
Wonderful. So I think that it aligned with all three of you. I'm quite impressed by the kind of narratives all three of you have given. So I would possibly conclude with some of the thought process which I have possibly summarized. One is, how do you emerge from a trends from a futuristic point of view? WDC will be a generative AI that will be a significant opportunity for the organizations that can balance regulations and readiness. That's number one. Second is, corporate culture will reckon with financial abuse can be reduced. So I am not talking about fraud, because I did mention about cybersecurity as one of the important factors. I also feel that implementing a robust ethical framework from the beginning of your agency will create a framework for other organizations to function in a more effective manner. Corporates need to nurture and attract young talent. You've already been doing it and implementing in your organization. It will also allow others to embrace the same policy. Focus on brand evaluation and board evaluation through independent advisors. So this is a new concept which you are building. So anyone can become an independent director and work on other organizations and use their expertise.
Correct.
So that will improve and enhance other business corporates. Another area which I possibly feel can be of a social importance is corporate social responsibility will not only nurture but also have an incremental societal growth, because ultimately we are all working to serve the society. Last but not the least, international training agencies can be an influencing factor for you to accelerate and achieve the goals of WDC. I wish the very best for your organization. I certainly see that you are the three pillars as on one side, and the fourth pillar is your team of WDC, who will ensure that your vision and your passion will make a qualitative difference to anyone who will join your organization, not only taking just courses, but also follow the philosophy of WDC to make this a better place and make this world as global citizens for themselves. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a host, and interview and take this conversation not only for people who are here, but those who cannot reach us and come forward to be a part of WDC. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.